Good evening. My name is James Bernard Pratt Jr., a graduating senior psychology major from Albany, Georgia. And tonight, on the Leadership News Network, we will be discussing leaders in regards to equality. We will be discussing these great leaders across the nation and across this globe via their biographies and autobiography. We will begin with Brother Calvin King to discuss his great leader.
Hi, my name is Calvin King. I am a graduating senior political science major from Los Angeles, California. And the leader I'll be focusing on is Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey is a native of Jamaica. There he learned hard lessons as a young man. His father taught him the lesson of self-reliance. He taught him this lesson by burying him for over 24 hours. Marcus Garvey asked his father, "Father, why did you have me buried for so long?" He said, "Son, I wanted to teach you self-reliance." Marcus Garvey took this lesson of self-reliance and carried it throughout his journeys. When he made it to New York finally from Jamaica, he created the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association. If Garvey had one message for the descendants of Africa, he would tell the descendants of Africa to rise up, you mighty black people. Take pride in yourselves.
Greetings, I am Vincent Jones, senior sociology major here at Morehouse College, and I want to talk to you today about a book by Dr. Harry Edwards, a well-renowned sociologist, titled The Struggle That Must Be. Very instrumental in the Olympic Project for Human Rights, which was an organization built to boycott the 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City, which led to the also famous salute, Black Panther salute on the podium at the award ceremony. Dr. Edwards was a proponent of transformational leadership, I believe, because it was his obligation to change the organizational culture of the Olympic Games and help out his fellow black athletes to prosper and receive the benefits that the other athletes were receiving at the Games. Now to Mr. Moody.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Good evening. My name is Miles Moody, a graduating senior sociology major from St. Louis, Missouri. And tonight, I want to talk to you all about Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, an ethical leader. We may know him as the 6th college president of Morehouse, but to others, he was an orator, author, worked for an Office of Education, chairman of the Atlanta Board of Education. He preached in the Baptist Church, acted as an advisor to the Southern Christian Leadership Council, and he was a church historian. Being that he was among the first in his generation of people of color to be born into freedom, he was forced to battle racial discrimination and economic hardship as he strived to achieve academic excellence. But most importantly, he was an ethical leader, an educator, and a man of perseverance. For example, in his autobiography entitled Born to Rebel, he notes that even as a child, he and his family faced violent racism, where his father was singled out and humiliated by an early Klan group. But that did not stop him. He grew up and went on to become an educated black man. And as a leader, more specifically an educational leader, Dr. Mays worked to strengthen black colleges. That was one of his top goals. In 1934, he became dean of the School of Religion at Howard University. During his 6-year tenure, he succeeded in strengthening the faculty and the facilities to such an extent that the school achieved a Class A rating from the American Association of Theological Schools. He went on to become president of Morehouse College. And while he was there as active president, he influenced many students to become servant leaders, scholars, etc. Back to you, Mr. Pratt.
Again, my name is James Pratt Jr. The leader I chose was Abraham Lincoln, who was described in the book, Team of Rivals. You know, the book discusses Abraham Lincoln as a man amongst a great amount of leaders, who were also his rivals that were resided in his cabinet. The book's goal, should I keep going? The goal of this group of leaders, the goal of Abraham Lincoln was to abolish slavery and he had to garner the support of his team of rivals who were also in his cabinet in order to achieve this common goal, which was focused on the equality of African Americans who were slaves in America. Abraham Lincoln used the psychodynamic approach, particularly the approach which uses adult, parent, and the kid model. Abraham Lincoln served the roles of adult and parent in this model in regards to his leadership style, with his followers being the kids. One form of the psychodynamic approach uses the model of adult, parent, and kid. Abraham Lincoln in this model was a leader in the style of an adult as well as a parent, with his team of rivals being the kids. Abraham Lincoln gave directives, gave instructions, and was the example for his team of rivals. He told them how to act as followers, and he demonstrated this as a great leader with the goal to abolish slavery. These were our great leaders in America and across this world. And don't you have a leader to discuss? Come on. Come on. To you.
I guess the Buddhist monk I could discuss, the original American Buddhist monk, Paramangada Yogananda, I guess I can't really pronounce his name very well, it's Hindu.
Go ahead.
So, butchered it, I'm sure. But, so he brought Hinduism and to an extent Buddhism and yoga in general to America. He was like the main teacher. People like John Lennon followed him. He influenced people like John Lennon, George Harrison, most of the Beatles in general. He's like one of their main teachers. So I believe one of the presidents was a big fan of his also. But besides teaching people around across the United States and California and Seattle and things like that, he wrote books and just was our first, he introduced Eastern philosophy to us, which is amazing in the philosophy sphere. I guess if he had a leadership model, it would be the great man theory, because he told everyone that he was prophesied to have written these books, who had to write these books and to spread these teachings across all of America. So I guess that would be my leader if I had one to pick from.
Oh, great job, man. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
That was tonight's edition of the Leadership News Network.